Have you ever considered what it would be like if you lost access to your GPS or that wonderful map app that you have on your phone to tell you where to go? Today I have the privilege of meeting with Walter Creech of Maps Sales and Services. Did I say that right?
You did good.
Okay. We're going to talk today just a little bit about the importance of learning how to read a map and which maps you might need to have for your family to prepare for the days to come. So stay with us. Walter, it is so good to be here with you today. Thank you for letting us come into your shop here. We're in the heart of Nashville, Tennessee, and this is Maps Sales and Services.
There you go.
You handle maps for all over the world. I've seen them for all kinds of different countries and cities everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You've been in here once before.
I have been to buy an important map a couple of years ago. So I'm glad that you're still here. And it's so unusual to find shops like yours that are even still surviving. You've been here how many years?
42.
42 years. That's incredible. I want to encourage you out there, if you haven't found a map shop, the two shops I was thinking of just this morning, you hardly see often anymore, and that is shops that sell maps like this, but also shoe shops that repair shoes and boots. So if you have one in your town, I hope that you'll take the time to go find them and give them some of your love and some of your business and dollars, because we want to keep businesses like you alive.
That's a good thought. The shoe shop thing is really a gone market.
It is. They're very rare nowadays. All right. Well, I want us to talk about the event of, hypothetically, if we didn't have our GPS or our easy phone with the app that tells us right where to go on Google Maps, we would need, potentially, a hard copy of something, wouldn't we?
Yeah, you'd probably need a road atlas, and it will have some city street detail.
Mm-hmm.
If you can find a folded map of a given city, that's a plus.
Yeah.
And some bookstores have those, and maybe you'll find a map store in a given town.
Now, you were saying earlier that one of the last few places that we might look,
Chambers of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce in our city. And I suppose if we lived in a rural area, we may or may not.
Rural chambers tend to have those too.
Okay, good. For now.
For now, good point.
Yeah. So that might be a good place to start if you're wanting to get a map of your area, whether it's your city or your region if you live out in a rural area. But also, Walter really recommends that we have a good road atlas of the whole United States, right?
Because it's universal. It covers more than just a small area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I had to make my way across the United States, I would sure be thankful for something like this.
And if you go in and out of cities, you have a little detail at the city.
Yeah.
With little insets.
Yeah, of major cities anyway, at least.
Right.
What are some different things that we can do that you would recommend to help the younger generation understand the value of maps or even know how to read one? I don't know that young folks even know for sure how to read a map nowadays.
Well, they probably need to think in terms of more than just looking at a screen. They need to get a paper product and study it a little bit and make sure that that is a portion of what they're seeing on the screen on the GPS. It's got a lot of insight that you're not going to get just scanning from one little spot to another.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas on a paper map, you're going to fold out a map, you're going to see the whole picture. You don't get that on that little screen.
Yeah. Tell me that story again you were saying earlier about what it was like when you were a young child and your parents would take you on vacation or whatnot.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers that come in and they talk about making a trip to Florida, and they have a routine they do every year, and the routine is they hand the map to one of the children and say, tell me where we are, tell me what town we're going through, tell me what road to take, and that just sticks with them for the rest of their life.
It does. You could ask them, which river is this we're driving over right now?
That's right.
What is this bridge, or what is the other name for this highway? There are a lot of things they can learn from paying attention and having a map there.
And the GPS is just not going to get that thorough, and it's not exciting like you get on a paper map.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate your viewpoint on that, and I would totally agree with you. Now, these are almost impossible to get hold of, but I have one from a few years ago, and I want you to explain the value of this kind of map, because if somebody is able to get one of these for their town,
the book
they
maps
should.
are detailed for a large expanded area. You have coverage, you get just this little bitty pinpoint on this map, whereas you get every bit of that in page form.
Yeah.
In large detail.
Literally broken down into, that's probably not even 1 square mile. What is that probably?
Well, it gives you a scale at the bottom, which is up here in this one. So
half a mile.
That's about a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, yeah. See, so if they're able to, which I know that you were saying it's rare to even find these anymore, right?
It is.
They're just not even in print. But if you're able to get your hands on, this one specifically is called a page finder map, and there's probably a few different names they call them, right? But
yes, this one actually is called GPS Companion.
GPS Companion, and it's the same kind of deal where it breaks it down into little tiny squares. So no matter where you are, you can find exactly where the railroad tracks are. I mean, this would be, if I was on foot, I would be so thankful
Amen.
to be able to see, okay, there's a, railroad tracks just a few hundred yards through those trees over there or around the bend, to be able to find alternate routes.
Around the bend, you don't get on GPS.
You don't get no, literally. They don't even tell you much except for, go a quarter of a mile and turn left on such and such a street, but they don't even tell you what is around you. Where this is showing landmarks and parks and airports and every kind of detail that you would want on a very expanded scale for a small area. So if you're able to get a hold of a map like this for your town, it's worth looking into. You might check online, you might talk to the chamber and ask if they know anybody around that publishes these, or you might call Walter here. This is Maps, Sales and Services, and even though it's located in Nashville, Tennessee, it happens to cover almost every major city you can find in the world. So it's worth at least calling them and seeing if they happen to have a map on hand. Is that okay for me to give that shameless plug for you?
That's true.
He didn't pay me to say that. I'm just telling you, this is a good place to start if you're looking for that. Tell us what other kind of maps are important. I know earlier you were showing us a wonderful topographical map. Tell us the importance or value of having a map like that.
Let me go get that.
Do it.
Okay. Now this shows all we have talked about, plus it shows elevations as to what a given hill or a valley or any kind of drainage system would enter into the environment that you're in. So it has many, many purposes. And they are done in 7 by 8 mile squares for the whole United States.
Wow.
It is a wow.
And this is put out by the U.S. Department of Interior.
Well, commonly U.S. Geological Survey.
Okay, USGS.
Right.
And they could probably get them through you.
They sure can.
Is there a government website you would recommend them go to?
USGS. That's all you got to do is punch in USGS.
Okay, and they could get one for the 7 or 8 mile square that they live in.
Right. There is an index that the index shows
I see.
We're looking at Nashville here, and there's a little square there, and that has a name and a diagonal line across it, and it says Nashville West, and that's the name of this
I
quad.
see.
And they call them quadrangles.
Quadrangles, okay.
And they are uniform to scale throughout the country. So if you want
That's
to put
fantastic.
one below it, beside it, and it is an all-purpose map.
Yeah, this would be invaluable. As I'm looking at it, let me put it up on here on top. I'm noticing, I see railroad tracks, I see bridges, I see mile markers, I see all the major, even buildings around the city, which is incredible. I mean, knowing where those are is important. You know, if you're seeing something in the distance and being able to chart where it is in relation to you are.
And they also come same map with a satellite overlay. You can get this information overlaid on top of this map. So this map would look like that combined.
Also through the USGS.
True.
And this is the same, this is a more rural area, right? That we're looking at here on this one. But very helpful. I mean, on this one you even can see the forests and the trees and where they stop and the fields begin.
It gives you the visual picture rather than just a copy picture.
And I like how it shows you here at the bottom where this falls, the adjoining quadrangles.
Oh, you're getting good.
I learned that word from you. Woo, I love this map. Tell me about it and what it's representing.
This is physically raised rather than on a flat surface. The kids call them bumpy maps, but...
Bumpy maps, that's a good word for it.
Well, it is.
That is fun to look at.
They call it vertical exaggeration. It's just unique.
It really is. It's very special. I like these the best, these USGS maps, and I noticed that they show the declination scale down here at the bottom that you're needing. They have a number of different little extra information along the bottom that's helpful. But I want to just encourage you, if you haven't recognized or thought so much about maps in the past and you're thinking of what you need to do to prepare your family for the days ahead, at the very least, get a detailed map of your city, of your town, or your area where you live. Find the key places where you go often. It might be your children's school or where they take gymnastics class or the church that you attend every weekend, the place that you go to work. And map your home and those spots on the map and teach your family not only how to recognize the route that you take on the map visually, but also alternate routes. Just looking at this map of Nashville, I see where I used to work, and I noticed that the one bridge that goes across the Cumberland River to get me home from there, if that were to go out or be blocked, did I ever consider where my alternate route would be? I mean, and how long it would take me, or even worse, what if I was on foot and I needed to get home? What would I have done? Now, thankfully, nothing happened. I don't have to worry about that, and I don't work down in the heart of the city like I used to. But looking at a map like this really makes me consider the importance and value of learn those spots on the map, plot them out, and plan ahead of time of, okay, what is my plan B? Where should I walk if I happen to be on foot and need to get home, or what roads are there that I could use as alternate routes? Wouldn't you say that's a pretty important thing for everyone to kind of learn?
You have sold me.
I don't need to sell you on anything. You know this already. I'm talking to the choir.
Not really. I like your approach to this.
Well, I just appreciate you taking the time to show us these maps. I want to encourage you, if you haven't dived into them before, this is a great time right now, before there's any emergency or even any great dire need for them. Prepare in advance. Go out and get yourself some detailed maps of your area and learn what it is that you need to learn and your family needs to learn about your area and how to navigate appropriately for that. We have other videos out there on how to navigate by the stars, by the shadows, by the moss on the trees, or by using a compass or your watch, all kinds of different things. You'll want to know those kind of things in relation to also how to read a map. They all kind of go together. I hope you'll take the time to get trained and train your family as well. All right. Thank you, Walter, for letting us be with you today.
Well,
let me shake your hand or hug you and say, God bless you.
I've enjoyed this.
I hope that you'll take the time to share this video with someone you love. Go out, and between now and when I see you again, be a blessing to someone this week, and we'll see you next time. Before you leave, I want to share this. This is out of the book of Romans, chapter 15, and it's verse 5 and 6. It's beautiful. It says, "May the God of endurance and encouragement grant you to live in such harmony with one another, in accord with Christ Jesus, that together you may with one voice glorify the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ." Now go spread the word.